Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are building gates on our down the garden path projects. So a gate or a door or a fence opening or just something to indicate the start or the end of the garden. So the first video today is working on the wave of colour. So it's Saturday morning and you're watching this. Over the next 3 extra days you will see my additional 3 pieces where we start the process of the gate. Now to catch you up on this one, I've worked a little bit more on the other end of it, getting the background down. If you recall, I didn't have a lot of purples and blues, so I've since had my lace arrive that has a little bit of purple in it. So I've placed down a piece of linen in the purple and then a little bit into the blue, and this is sort of the transition between those 2 pastel colors because I'm going cream, pink, purple and finishing in blue. So what I've done is just put some tulle in here over the purple just to push it back a little bit in its color intensity. Added the little decorative piece in there, some lace. And then I'm down to the very end and I've added just a little bit of blue linen at the moment. I haven't found anything to go over it or what I'm going to do with it yet. It's just there for now, just to start the process of getting me through those pastel colors. I've also added some beadwork in here, just lots of little beads stitched down to make up the leaves. Now that was a piece of trim that came with some of the Indian trims that I showed you in a Etsy share last week, I think it was. And then I've added a little piece of that out of the table runner. So that's sort of just helped that transition from the pink to the purple, and then I've got the transition from the purple to the blue. So that's sort of where I'm at with it. So now the gate, I'm thinking about using some ribbon to create the fence palings. Probably not so much the gate itself. So that's sort of where I'm at. Then I was looking at my piece. Now technically my piece is going down, but I really feel like it needs to go across for some reason. I don't know. So if it goes down, I thought, well, maybe I could do the gate at the bottom here and you are walking up into the garden. But that's sort of, I don't know. And what I'm thinking of doing is using this ribbon. I've got a white and an off-white here. So I've got some options. Creating the fence posts with it. Sort of just stitching it down into big long stitches. Now where I got the idea from, I went onto Pinterest and I found this photo. That there. So it's sort of full of French knots and embroidery, but you see how she's used, or whoever's done this, has used the ribbon as the posts. I really like that idea. I thought that was something different. Now what I want to try and do is do a different gate or opening to the garden on each piece. So some of them I got ideas straight away. A couple of them I was like, oh, I don't know. So I went onto Pinterest and I found that ribbon idea. So I thought, well, that's something I've never done before. So I'm going to give that a go. Another idea I found on another site was just a hint of a gate, like a broken down gate hidden by embroidery. So I like that idea of just a stitched hint of a gate. So that I think may go on the champagne one. But this one, being that it's so satiny, silky, beady, delicate, I'm thinking the ribbon idea might really work for this. Now I've got two options. I could do it down the end here in the blue, or in here. And I sort of feel like it suits in here. I've sort of got a little spot, but then that makes my piece go this way, which is not a bad thing. It doesn't really matter, I guess, that it's not a downward piece. Okay, I grabbed out this piece of crocheting too, because I had visions of that being the actual, the gate itself. I thought maybe I could cut a shape out, so I've got that as an option. The other thing I thought of is maybe I bead the gate. Now in the process of laying down this additional fabric to try and carry my story of colour through, I started gathering all my beads. So in here are the beads that I feel will suit the whole project. So they're all together now. I hadn't done that at this stage. If I turn it upside down, you can see all my different colours. And what I did realise is I don't have rocks anywhere, stones. I found one necklace that come from my mother's jewellery box, and it was some stone-like colours. So I broke that down and I've used that in one of the other projects. But when it came to every other project like this one, I just didn't have any stones or chips, stone chips. So I went shopping and I picked up some little bags of stone chips that I think I can incorporate in just about all of the pieces. So this gate, I'm thinking of building in some stones around. So this area would go really well with these little quartz stones that I got, rose quartz. So I could do some little flowers and some little stones all around my little gate scene in here. So I sort of feel like it's pulling me towards this. So in the way of little stones, I picked up one that was mixed because there was some purples in there that I could use further along. Some random colours, a little bit of blue, but it's probably a bit too greeny blue. I picked up this green anyway because I thought it might be able to be used in one of the other projects, but I don't know. I sort of, you know, when you see them all and you just want them all, that's sort of, I think, what happened. There were two other colours, but they were out of stock, so I'm really not sure what they were. I really wanted some neutral things. Now these match ones that I already owned. They're really big pearlized looking rocks that were in a necklace of my mum's. And then I saw these and I thought, well, they match. So now I've got two sizes. So that I think will be good for the champagne garden. These are like polished pearl, but then they've stained them. So I thought they might be good for centres of flowers. Some blues to add to that blue section, and then these pinky tones to add into here. So I certainly have a few things that I can go on with in the pinks for this piece. Now, in addition, I found this, which I thought was pretty good for nearly all the projects, and they're little flat polished stones with just a hole in the centre. So I feel like I've got a few pebbles now to sort of get me where I need to go with building paths and things like that. When we get to the, I think it's the champagne one, you'll see where I was sort of playing with a few stones and things like that. So now, in talking that through, I'm definitely going to do my fence here because I have this pink that can sort of work in and build in this zone. So decision made. So let's decide, are we going to use the soft creamy gate or are we going to use a white fence? I think we're going to do white because I feel like it'll pop a little bit better. So let's grab ourselves a little bit of the ribbon. Now, I do not ribbon embroider. It's something quite foreign to me. I've done a little bit, but I've not had any formal training or lessons or anything like that. So it's definitely on my wish list. If I could find a class somewhere that does a little bit of ribbon embroidery. I've watched YouTube videos, which is sort of the way it sort of goes these days, doesn't it? If you want to learn something new. Excuse me. Like, they don't put a knot in the end, I don't think. They do a little back stitch or something, but I do. Being that this is not going on to clothing where you want your ribbon embroidery to sit flat, I think I can get away with a bit of a knot. So that, I think, is already breaking the rules. But anyway, it's my piece. As long as it doesn't come out, it's the main thing. So, how am I going to do this? I've sort of got this piece of lace here, which I'm wondering if we pretend that that's the stump and this is the fence paling, that might work. So how tall do we make this fence? Might just stay within that pink. So let's just go for it. So one fence paling. Should be relatively simple to do. Gosh, there's some beautiful work popping up on Facebook in the group. If you haven't found the Roxy Journal of Stitchery Facebook group, head over and join up, because boy, you're surrounded by some beautiful pieces. Not some, they're all fantastic. It's just so different. It's so cool. I don't even think my fence is straight. Already it looks crooked. Being a farm kid and having experienced fence building, my father would be like looking at those posts going, "Girl, you're crooked." I probably should have drawn some lines, but anyway, doesn't matter. I want a few posts, so I'm going to do them close together, I think. Yeah. Then I noticed in that photo that I got, she put a little French knot at the top of them, which would hold the ribbon down in position. So I'll definitely do that. Or maybe a bead. I'll find something. So this is pretty simple little fence. Well, that one's a bit short. Or is it? Oh no, I suppose it could be a rickety fence. It looks short. No, I've got to pull that one out. Yeah, it's short. I just looked up at the TV where I've got my iPad projecting my work to, and I can clearly see that it's probably about 4 mil out. Mind you, I'll be doing some little flowers across the front of my fence. So I'm definitely overthinking it. But anyway, so this week on this one, we'll get this fence sorted, and then I'll start working on the embroidery of some flowers, some more wildflowers. The wildflower prompt is, now it's too short at the top. Look, for goodness sakes, I got the bottom right. Meanwhile, down at the fence, the girl can't get her fence paling straight. I think it was short overall. So let's just get that out of there. I'm probably destroying my ribbon by mucking around so much with it. As you can tell, I'm not formally trained in ribbon embroidery. But anyway, here we go again. Let's try and get this right now. Yeah, that'll do. I'm not unpicking it again. That's enough. You watch, this will be too tall. Getting it to sit right. So the beginning of the week, I actually went to visit some cousins, and in the process I got given a heap of fur. Now you're sitting there thinking, oh gosh, what is she up to now? I'm up to nothing. The lady that had all the fur was cleaning out her craft room and is no longer making teddy bears. So everyone goes, who can we give this to that's into craft? And of course my name popped up. So I've been given a heap of fur. So I've sorted it all out and got all the, you know, decent sized pieces. So I have a pile of fur here. Now I'm not a teddy bear person. I don't think I will become a teddy bear person in the future making bears. And I just don't have the room anyway to keep it. So anyone in Brisbane that watching my channel right now that knows a charity that makes teddy bears for people or kids, if you could send me a message, because I have a pile of fur here, and I'm talking if you folded the piece up of fur the size of this mat and then stacked it, it would come to just above your hip. So you got a bit of a visual of the pile of fur that I have here. And in addition, I have all of the patterns that this lady's ever used in folders, heaps of teddy bear patterns. So I thought I'll put the word out to you guys. So anyone in Brisbane, Southeast Queensland, I don't want to send it any further than that because I want to be able to just drive it over and drop it off. So if anyone knows of a charity in Brisbane that works on making teddies, could you please send me a little message, because I'd like to pass them on to a group that can utilise it. I just don't think it's something that I'll ever need. Okay, so we've got 4 posts. Where are we heading with this? Do I add another brown post there? I probably could. Or am I getting a bit too close to this? Might be a bit tight. I could, that is just stitched down there. I could lift that and have it coming over the post. But then if I did these posts and treated these as palings, I would need another post. But would that overpower it? Just thinking, guys, where is my lace that's this? Do I want more of that on there? Just having a quick look in my baskets here to see where that lace would have got to. And if it doesn't jump out at me, that means it's just not going to happen, which is not a bad thing either, probably. I think I can see the container. Hang on, guys. Okay. I'm sure it was in here. Maybe I don't have any more of it. Can't remember now. I think I'm seriously overthinking my fencing. Just can't see. No. I'm wondering. That might allow me to get a smaller fence post. Okay. I wonder, that little shiny creamy bit, if that became the fence post. Yeah, I'm liking that better. Okay. Okay, yeah. Got a bit of an idea now. So I'm going to remove the top of that lace. And that is going to be the fence post. Oop. Gosh, I've got threads everywhere. So there's our post. There's our palings. Now we need another post. I think this will be better because it's going to be a better size. That other cream lace that was already stitched down is just a little bit too wide. So this will define the panels in the middle. Then what I might be able to do, plus it gives you somewhere for your gate to hinge from. So, you know, we're going to at least get one of these fences technically correct. Okay. Salvage little itty bits from who knows where. This lace is really pretty. It's got a little satin topper. So there's a satin edge over the top of that lace. See that there? Could even open that up and it'd give you a beautiful little piece of. So that will go there. Now I'm wondering if I can unpick my beaded thing here, or do I unpick this guy and then take the fence back a bit? Yeah, that might be easier than mucking around with this. So that means, okay, let's get a quick unpick. I'm going to have a look at taking this little fellow out. Those little invisible stitches, they're very easy just to pop your piece off. Because I think this will happen a little bit, especially if you've gone forward a little bit with your background and just started building your neutral backgrounds up. There'll be things that you'll want to do in the future and it just won't fit. So it's really simple just to take your little element off and reapply them somewhere else, which is what I'm going to do here. And those extra 10 mil, I think, will make all the difference to the design. So that's all. That's gone now. So let's see if I can tuck my fence post in behind that pink flower petal. Yeah, that's going to work. And then I might take him out, that paling, because he's not needed. And we'll put a fence paling in there. And then this can go in there. Where's my pin? And then we should have room for another fence post. And I guess the decision will be when I start stitching all this down, do I lift that Or can I do enough embroidery there so that it's sort of hidden? How did I stitch that? Probably wouldn't be much to lift it because I think that's the thread. I'm going to lift it. Won't take much to lift that corner. It's on an organza, so yep, easy. Great. And I think I can get a fence paling or maybe even 2 in under it. Okay, so that's the plan. Now, do I just jump back over here to get that post in and finish that off? How far am I jumping? Yeah, I'm going to do that. I don't really want to pull those palings out again and just rough up this ribbon some more. So I'm just going to scoot across there, and now I'm going to have my paling go in here. So then I can finish off that off. Okay, so let's finish that with just a little twisty knot. It's probably not the way to do it, but that's how I'm going to do it, because like I said, I'm not formally trained, so I can break all the rules until I'm told differently. Isn't that the way it goes? Okay, lovely. Let's get that laying flat so I can sneak a bit of excess there just to get it nice. There we go. Now I might grab my cotton. Where's my cotton? This will do. And I just want to stitch down the fence posts with invisible stitch for now, because I'm positive they're staying there. Something I need to think about is, do I need rails? The rails go across from the posts to hold the little palings. I could probably embroider a little satin stitch in there. So now I'm just going to just do some invisible stitch to hold my posts. Okay. Alrighty, couple more stitches and that will hold them. I think we've got our fence pretty much sorted. Once I get this little guy stitched down, you'll get the general idea. I won't waste any more time invisible stitching the posts, because I can always come back to that if we've got time at the end of the video. So now I want to do a little knot or a bead in the palings. Okay, so that's stitched down. Now let's have a look at the beads and see if I can find something to stitch. Now in that photo from Etsy, it was a French knot, but I'm wondering if I could use a little bead. These might be too big. Don't know. Yeah, I like that. They probably are too big, but I don't know, I like it. Will this needle go through? Do I have to change needles? Nope, it's good. So what I'm going to do is just in the center of that, just down a little bit. Goodness me, did I not knot that? Right. Need a knot. Now it's unthreaded. Goodness sakes. Slow down, Corrine. Got so many ideas scooting through the brain here that I'm not checking that I've even got a knot. So let's just secure that cotton first. And then we're going to put the bead on. And we will do 2 stitches through the bead. And I'll make sure it holds it nicely. And then I believe we have our fence paling secured. There's a bit of a lineal line happening now, so that'll give the impression that there is at least a rail behind. So maybe I don't need a rail. I think once I pick up the embroidery cottons to start working some more wildflowers around the fence, I think maybe then I'll decide if I should put a little rail in behind there. If I should couch maybe some cotton so it gives the impression there's a rail. This pearl was quite firm. Oh yeah, no, I got through. There was a small hole in it and I thought, oh, I'm not going to get a second stitch once that first cotton goes through that hole. But we got it. I'm just doing a little invisible stitch to get my way back. I don't know why I didn't start there and come across. Instead I started there. Doesn't even make sense. Okay, so let's get this next bead in. I'm going to run out of cotton. I only got at least another one after that. Okay. I was just thinking, if anyone knows the teddy bear group that I'm sort of looking to donate all this fur to, that maybe is in the Fraser Coast area, Maryborough, Harvey Bay zone. I'm often up that way, so even Gympie. So for you Aussie girls that live in Queensland, if you're in those zones and you know of a group, maybe drop me a message too, because I do go around those areas because it's sort of my home area. Well, not so much those towns, but I pass through them at least once a month. So that might open up the possibilities of finding a group I can give all this fur to. And of course all the patterns. Now I've lost my thread again. It'd be lovely to find a charity that could utilise them, because a lot of them still have the purchase price on them, the labels. I am stunned at how expensive fur is. Hoky Nelly. It's like small pieces, you know, like 3 pieces of paper in size. That 3 for a bit of a guide to the size I'm thinking about. It's like $35. So I've probably got $600 worth of fur sitting here. From my table where I'm filming, I might take a photo on my phone so you can sort of see what's there. Okay, so there's the little bead along the fence. Very cute. I think I will put a rail in behind, and I just looked across and I've got this little bit of linen. Yeah, I think I can. I'm just doing this backwards, but I should have done the rail first, then the palings, then the bead. But that's the problem with ideas as they evolve. It'd be nice to be able to think this through properly right at the very beginning and then execute accordingly. But no, it happens as it happens. But that's all right. I'm pretty sure I can sneak this thread underneath it all. Actually, while I think of it, I'm going to take a photo of that fur that I've been given. Just hold 1 second, guys. Okay. Just so you've got a bit of an idea of what it is. There's a lot of bright colours. That's it there. So it's 2 stacks. That's probably just above my knee in height. Then there's a second stack. And there's all sorts of colours in there. Probably only a few that actually look like a teddy in my mind as a brown. But there's all sorts. There's, yeah, purples, and this here seems to be like a plastic film that you could trace a pattern on paper, and then when you cut it out, you've got a hard template for a pattern. So, yeah, there's all sorts there. So if you are Brisbane, like I said, or even Maryborough, Gympie, Hervey Bay, that region, because I'm passing through the Bruce Highway there, drop me a message and I can send it all your way, or at least we can pass it on to a group that can use it. And I forgot a knot. Okay. My email address is in the description, so if you're wondering how to get hold of me. So I'm just going to sneak my needle in through there. And then lift. It's just tucked in under some tulle. We want it above the tulle. That's better. Come on, get up there. Okay. Yep. Got it. So there's my little railing. I'll probably come back through with some little stitches just to secure that, because I don't want it sort of getting sloppy and sliding. So, but if you were logical about this, you would have probably done the posts and the railings first. But I think I can sneak my needle through. This type of embroidery, which I sort of think is very freestyle embroidery, because we don't have patterns. We're literally creating it on the fly in our brains and straight onto the work. So it is tricky to make sure that everything's in its right spot. And you will find that you'll look at your piece and go, oh, hang on a minute, that's not connected to that. But you may have already started stitching down. So you've got to sneak a stitch in or try and build it back up in a spot that maybe doesn't quite look right. I think that's completely normal with this type of stitching, because no one's thought a pattern out for you. You're the one doing it, and you're literally collaging it together. So what I might do next is just get that stitched down, that other post, and I think that side of my fence is complete. Got a little bit of linen left there, so we can use that the other side. I'm going to lift a bit of this embroidery and have my at least 1 or 2 posts coming in behind, and then that embroidery can sit over the top of it. So do I want my fence post on front of my pink flower or under? I think I want it under. Yep. Under it is. Why is that so hard to push through? Because I'm using a crowbar for a needle. But anyway, it will work. So let's get this little guy secure. So I need to have a think about my gate. Do I need a gate? Will I use that crocheted element as my gate? I just looked across to my scrap bucket and I just spotted that. It's not big enough. Maybe I could do a gate in beads and just embroider a gate of beads in. I definitely want to put some pebbles around the fence posts here, sort of to anchor them to the earth. But that'll all be in the next video. I'll come back to you and we'll have a bit more of a play with the bottom in the second week. So that'll be next weekend or Monday, Tuesday, depending on where the video falls. But yeah, if you're new to all of this, I'm working on 4 projects, each a different theme. And once the girls release their prompt or their video, their follow-up video, which happens on the alternative week, I then start my videos and they air on the Saturday. That's a bit crooked. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 4. Okay, so now, yeah, how are we going for time? We're fine. So let's get this palings, if we're going to do more. So if anyone's looking for stones and things, those brands that I picked up, these ones, they're Ribtech, RIBTEX. So you will find them in $2 shops, Spotlight, Lincraft, if you're an Aussie. And if you just put in stones, or what do they call them? Precious stone chips, Ribtech. There's the pink ones. They should pop up. These ones are also Ribtech that look more like their shell that are dyed. So what did they officially call them? There's nothing written on the back. 8mm bead, 20 grams. And there's a code there, MM2208. That's the blue ones. And the soft pink, their code, their item number is MM2207. So 08 and 07. That might be enough to at least find a supplier online if you can't get to those shops that I just mentioned. Okay. Oops. Goodness. Forgot the knot that I'm probably not meant to do at the end of ribbon embroidery, but it works. It works perfectly for fence posts. It's the technical way of doing it, you see. All right. Now, have I peeled that back enough? There's my little invisible stitch, so I can get that out of the way. I'll just snip it, I think. going to say that I'm going to unpick majority of that through there and try and get back to that edge of lace. So my fence palings continue. I just feel like the eye wants it to continue to a stationary point. And that little guy is in the way. But he can go over the top of it all. So he'll be reinstated back there. But I need to get my palings in under him. So I probably will only need to lift about 4 petals. Just to get my dimensions right, or not my dimension, my perspective right, to get my posts where I need them. That should be nearly enough. Okay, that will allow another post or paling. See, we're all now fencing. Got to use the right words. Tuck him into there. I reckon this will happen a bit. There'll be areas where we'll adjust a background piece, or, you know, just needs a little tweak. Just to get it just perfect. Okay, it's going to need to come up there. We're nearly there. I'll leave the top of the piece embroidered down, so then this will just drop back down into position, a few little invisible stitches, and it's all secure again. Because the beads were on this piece of tulle, it makes it really simple to reinstate them. If I had beaded that myself, of course I wouldn't have been able to do this. I would not have even had the thought. So that will work. Where's my needle and thread? Okay, so now I won't put the pearl on because the pearl will be not needed. It won't even be noticed. I might do him. I guess I'll see. We'll soon know once the I'm concentrating. You can hear my brain turning. Okay, come on, just turn over, for goodness sakes. Just do what you're meant to do. There we go. Now, have I got room for one more? I think so. I can sneak that needle under there, like so. Got it. Beautiful. A lot of effort for fence posts that are behind something, mind you, but anyway, it is what it is. Sometimes it's a lot of effort. That should hold. Okay. So now we can invisible stitch down the post that's remaining, and I can have a think about the gate. We'll have a look at that piece of crocheting and see if it's suitable. It might be too overpowering for it, but I just want to get I could even do something on top of the posts, hey, like you know, those little round knobbly things that sit on tops of fences. There we go for time. I got 10 minutes. Awesome. So I will finish this thread off, and that way our fence is stitched in, and we just decide what we're doing with the gate. Do we need a gate? It's an opening to the garden. Let's see. Okay. All right. Our structure, that's definitely not suitable. Get rid of our pin. Our fence is done. I just need to reinstate the little flowers, and I won't really need the pearl, but I might just move that little beaded guide down a bit and put a pearl there, just so that the eye knows that I have continued that across there. So I think I can sneak one pearl in on that one little panel. Now the gate. Do we use this? Let's cut it to size. This is just crocheted element from a doily around the border of the doily. It's like great for this type of work, so it needs to be a bit smaller. Yeah, I like that. I might just trim those little bits off so that I'm using that little cluster of treble crocheted stitches there to give the gate that edge, so it looks like there's a piece of metal holding it. And then I think gates can be a little bit off the ground, but not quite to the top. Or does he come low? Yeah, I like that there. So I'll invisible stitch that into position. Yeah, I like that. That really sells the story that it's a gate. Yeah, it needs something. That's going in there. And I might be able to do some French knots down this side, like just a row of knots, or even a row of beads, so that would look like the hinge to the gate. Do I leave it so you can open it? No, I probably don't need to. I might just do a couple little invisible stitches over here so that it's secure, because I don't want it to tear off. Yeah, I like that. Then I can come along and do some little flowers sort of along the bottom here. I'll re-secure that. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So what I might do for the last few minutes of our hour, doesn't an hour go quick, is thread up my white thread and finish off the invisible stitch side of things. And then when I come back in the second video of this panel, which will be in a week's time, it will be all about adding more flowers to our little area. So I'm just going to, first of all, secure, put a pin in, Corrine. Making it hard on myself, so put a pin in. Excuse me. Have we got a knot? Yes. So now I'm just catching this little gate into position. Maybe I'll leave it open. Can't see why I couldn't leave the gate swinging. I'm going to take that pin out. It's actually pulling the element away from me, And I need a little bit of the crocheting to secure the actual gate to the post. With some tiny little stitches. So now I can go back to the wildflower prompt and continue adding more, you know, flowers and things like that. Yeah, that fence, that gate is not coming off in a hurry. And I think a couple well-placed French knots when I get those threads out will really secure it. So do I pop a pearl in? I might, because I think it's sort of... The other thing I need to do is get my linen thread through for the rail. So let's get our little pearl in. Probably should do the rail first, but of course, no, we're doing it all backwards. That's how it is. It's got a tiny hole, that pearl. It's not going to go through my needle. If you buy cheap beads, you find that the inconsistencies in the holes and shapes happens. But that's all we need for this type of work. It's just a little bead from goodness knows where. I always go to, when I go to the op shops and look for thrifting and that, I always go to the jewellery section and just have a look at all the necklaces, bracelets and bits and pieces, because I'm surprised at how much I do pick up there in the way of a bracelet that I can cut down to get some beads from. That was a waste. I could have just skipped across. I can see a big stitch in behind there. Waste of ribbon. But anyway. Okay. Now I'm just going to grab that linen thread, thread it up and get that railing in. And we've got 2 minutes. That should be enough to put a railing on a fence, shouldn't it? Okay, so it needs to come up about there. Slither through. And then find a spot to sneak down, like so, and then come up again. And once again, thread my needle. How much easier would this have to do it, the railing in the beginning like I should have? Doesn't matter. I'm sure you'll all look at your fences and go, oh, now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do that. We're not fence builders at the end of the day. There we go. And you can barely see it's there, but it needs to be there. Otherwise my fence would look not quite correct. Okay. All right, guys. I'm happy with that. We have our fence and our gate. Our gate at the moment is swinging. We'll decide whether we secure it. I sort of don't want it to get damaged, so I might find that I do maybe secure it. Probably could secure it there so it doesn't quite open, but it's, Yeah, I might put a little stitch down the bottom in a little bit so it's there open but not completely swinging, but we'll see. Okay, so I'll bring that up to the camera. You can see my little linen rail going through. I need to adjust that little petal there on that so that we can see the little pearl on that post come through. So I think that's okay. In the next video, I must tell you, I've run out of time now, I must tell you what happened to my hand. I thought I broke my hand at the beginning of the week. I know my stitching career flashed before my eyes. I thought I would be out for the count for, I don't know, however long you're in a cast to mend a broken hand. But anyway, I'll tell you all about that in the next video. All right, guys, I will leave it at that. When this piece returns, it will be all about carrying on with wildflowers and some pebbles and things like that to finish it off. All right, everyone, see you in the next video. Bye.